Hey everybody, we'll just give it a few minutes for people to jump on. We are literally taking you through a step-by-step Shaggy Lob, all right, and whatever you want to call it. It's basically a mid-length haircut, shaggy, layers, salon-friendly. It's from our latest collection called Moving. So we'll give it a few minutes. We are live on Instagram and we are live on Facebook. Okay. We'll just give it a few minutes. Hello from Paris. Hello, Michael. Me and Gloria were talking about you the other day. Sending all our love to you. We'll have to catch up soon. Hello from Colombia. Hello. Hello to Blackpool as well, Anton. Okay, hi everybody. So nice to see everybody around the world. Okay, so there's quite a few people on now. We're going to literally crack on. It's gone 10 o'clock here in California. For the guys who are probably maybe brand new to me, or maybe the first time you're watching this, my name is Anthony Edge. I'm the creative director for Edge Academy here in sunny San Diego. The sun's coming through the window here, so I had to slightly move the camera across. But this is our academy. We're basically downtown in San Diego. So if any of you have ever been to San Diego, we're just on the side of Little Italy. So where all the restaurants, the bars, things like that are. Our academy is doing classes every single month. We do hands-on classes in person. And then we also doing a lot of online stuff. Today we thought we'd go on live on Instagram and Facebook to do this cheeky little haircut for you for free. I'm always loving to connect with you all around the world. Max from Barcelona. Hiya, Maxie. All right, so we've got a few people here. Katrina from England. Hi, my darling. So we've got a lot of different people from all around the world giving us a wave out and stuff like that. All right, so let's crack on. All right, we're going to take you through a haircut called the Moth. You might have seen this advertised over the last 24 hours, the haircut. It's a little haircut we did from our collection Moving. The Moving collection is made up of 9 haircuts. We broke the collection down into 3 categories. We broke it down into strength, texture, and movement. So strength meaning something blunt and clean and really precise, okay? Texture meaning point cutting, a little bit more looser with the shape. So for me, a little bit more salon friendly, a little bit more commercial. And then our final category is movement, which if you've got a client with curly hair, all right, and wavy hair, then it's ideal to have the old movement in there. This haircut is called the Moth. All right, the Moth is probably one of our most popular ones through the press. You know, we had a fantastic coverage from all the PR and the press on our collection. So a lot of the industry magazines and stuff like that. So the industry magazines like Modern Salon, Estetica, Creative Head, Salon Magazine in Canada. You know, there's a magazine in Mexico. I just want to say a big shout out to all the magazines in the industry out there who have obviously featured our collection over the last 12 months. Thank you so much for doing that. And this one was a popular haircut, what a lot of people liked. All right, so a few waves out there. Hi, Natalie. Hi, my wife is on there as well, Gloria. And then we've got the Kingley group from San Diego. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. All right, so let's crack on. Let's take you through this step by step. All right, it's a really simple haircut. And when it's simple, you're going to be able to use it behind the chair. All right, and that's what Edge Academy is all about, is simplicity. Breaking down a haircut that it's easy to do behind the chair and it's fast. It's nothing much worse, and you've got to do a lot of sections. It's a little bit too theory-based or too technical that all of a sudden it takes you maybe 2 hours to do. All right, so this is a really simple, quick haircut to do behind the chair. All right, so how we've done this, we're going to work with zigzags. All right, so all the partings are zigzags because this haircut is called the Moth and it's from the curly family, the movement family from Moving. All right, so if you've got curly hair or wavy hair, I would zigzag the section so you get a nice blend of the sections going through. because technically there's 3 disconnections within the haircut. So there's going to be 3 panels, all right? There's going to be a front panel for the curtain fringe. So what's really wow at the moment is the curtain bang. So we're going to work on a curtain bang through the front. We're going to work on the crown area as layering. And then the underneath, we're going to be maintaining length. So this is an ideal haircut for anybody who's got a bob, a lob, a mid-length shape, all right? Then I would ideally use it for that. If they're going longer, then I would use something else, all right? So visualize a client coming in around about that shoulders, just below or on the shoulders. She can have straight hair or a little bit messy, but I've designed it for curly hair. So if she's got wavy or curly hair, then I would work a zigzag. If you're going to do this haircut on somebody who's got maybe a wave or a straighter hair, then I suggest to do your parting straight instead of zigzag. All right? So again, this is what I love about creativity haircuts. There's a lot of freedom with this haircut. You make it your haircut, not my haircut. All right? So if you can get a few pointers from this cheeky little demonstration this morning, then it's worth tuning in, all right? So, first of all, we comb the hair through, all right? Then we literally work from the apex. So if I put the comb flat on my client's scalp head, where the head starts to curve around, so if I put my finger under the comb there, so I literally work from the apex or in front of the crown, and I literally work zigzag, zigzag towards the ear. So I'm doing a zigzag section towards the ear. If I do the opposite side, you'll be able to see as well. All right, so I've literally started at the apex and I've gone zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. All right, all the way to the ear. Okay, right, and then you clip out the front. So I kept the center in there because I'm literally working on a curtain bang to the middle. But if you've got a client who wears it off center, she wears it a little bit on a natural parting, then you could work the middle from whatever parting you want. And that's what I love about it. Like I said earlier, it's all about having that individuality, all right? Making it your haircut for your client, all right? So I'm going from the middle. So I've left the middle in there with zigzag to the ear. And then behind that, as you can see on from the profile here then, we've literally worked zigzag like a horseshoe section, all right? So if I slowly go around the head shape, yeah, you're able to see that zigzag all the way through. All right, and you're just zigzagging below the curvature of the head. So if you put the comb flat onto the head, you can see where the curve of the head is. So there's a little trick there. You can put the comb flat, then we're literally working below the curvature of the head and we're doing a little cheeky zigzag section all the way through. All right, and then we isolate the top out the way. So there's 3 sections with this haircut. You've got the nape, which I'm combing now. Yeah, so you've got this one. You've got the front, and then you've got the large horseshoe section. All right. So I'm going to take you through it step by step now, guys. That's the sectioning pattern. The only things you would change on this sectioning pattern, if you were doing it on a wavier or straighter hair, then you probably get rid of the zigzag. All right. So what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to get the client to put the head down. So you get your client to put the head down. So you say to you, and then what I love about this haircut, yeah, we did this haircut about 12 months ago now, our collection, moving, and we've kept it going this year. And it was so popular, this kind of shaggy lob, that we ended up working like a haircut like this on men's hair as well. Because there's a lot of guys out in California, like skateboarders, surfers, and they like longer hair. They don't want a buzz cut. You know, they don't want like a fade. So, you know, we got a lot of inspiration from this kind of haircut for men as well. So, yeah, fair enough, I'm focusing on like a woman's haircut today, but you could also do this on a guy as well with long hair. Okay, so you put the head down, the lady's head down. You elevate all the hair now up to the ceiling. So basically the head is down, but you're elevating all the hair up to the ceiling. Okay, so I'm working as a vertical section. I'm bringing all the hair up to the ceiling and I'm using the perimeter as a guide. So we don't want to take too much off that outline. Okay, so I'm literally just working all square up to the ceiling. All right, then we drop that down and then I'm going to continue now working parallel sections to that. Everything's on the base, so we're not traveling. All right, so we're not bringing everything into the middle or anything. Everything is on the base. All right, so it's just next section up to the ceiling. Okay, you see that right up to the ceiling, and then we're literally just point cutting through like a square layer. All right, square shape all the way through. All right, we're going to continue working the same kind of technique to where we get to just behind the ear. Okay, so you're just going to stop when you get to behind the ear. So you elevate up to the ceiling. Okay, you point cut, and if you notice, I'm using our larger scissors today. These are the 7-inch edge Academy shears. All right, so when I'm point cutting and I'm customizing, I personally like to use a larger scissor. A larger scissor, I get personally, I find I get a softer line. All right, I like to personalize, customize, do scissor over comb, things like that with a larger scissor. So I'm using the 7-inch blade today. If I was working on a little bit of a precision haircut, something like clean lines, working maybe something from our strength family, then I would probably use a smaller blade. Okay, so you've done that one side. So I've worked from the middle, bringing everything up to the ceiling. Up to the ceiling. So what's happening, you're maintaining the corner of weight. So the corner of weight will be sitting at the perimeter. So you maintain it, so you're keeping the perimeter nice and heavy. It's not going to be like a jellyfish. That's one thing about these like kind of shag haircuts. It's really nice to see these kind of modern day shags, but sometimes they take out too much weight at the bottom. And then what happens, it looks like a big old jellyfish. All right, and I don't want to do that kind of effect. All right, so we want to be maintaining more weight in the perimeter. I want to feel like the client feels like she's got a decent haircut. All right, so we elevate everything up to the ceiling. Okay, so you can see everything up to that ceiling. Carrying on, so just basically change my body positioning. Okay, and I'm stopping just behind the ear. All right, so your elevation, distribution. So if you like the breakdown of the haircut and you're a bit more of a technical hairdresser, the distribution and the elevation is 90 to over-directing. Where you're over-directing the perimeter, okay? And everything is coming up square. And then I'm point cutting the technique square. Okay, so I've done all the back area. I'm happy with that. If you want to cross-check, okay, you can get your client to keep her head down, okay? And then you could just literally go through horizontally. So you could go through here now horizontally through the back. Yeah, and then you could lift it up and you will see if it's square through that back area. Okay, remembering where you stopped at as well, so you can see it's square through that back. So we've squared through there. This is what we haven't cut yet, or we haven't cut that, but it's square. So you're just checking through that back area. Right, so once you're happy with that, what we're going to do now, you get your client to put her head up. Okay, so she had her head down for the back section. So what we do now, you take a little section, a little guideline, a vertical section through the sides, and the same on the opposite side. So you do this when the head's up, okay? And then before we cut the sides, what we're going to do now, we're going to get the client to move her head over to one side. So this is going to be like, what, 1 or 2 sections. Clients don't want to be sat in a chair a bit like this, having a haircut. They want to enjoy the service. So a couple of sections with the head slightly over. So you get your client to put a head over to one side. You say, can you just put your head over to one side for 1 second? Yeah. And what you'll do then, you use the guideline from the back. You elevate up to the ceiling. So the distribution and the elevation is exactly the same as what you've been doing. You point cut through, square to the ceiling. So what's happening, you're maintaining the length and you're maintaining the weight within the perimeter. So everything is coming up to the ceiling, okay? And then last section, which is just around about the ear, we elevate straight up to that ceiling, okay? And then for a client then, she doesn't want to stay like that forever, so you just say, look, put your head back up, thank you very much. And then if you're, again, a technical hairdresser and you like to cross-check, what the effects you've done there, guys, is you've basically worked a really nice seamless layer. And what seamless means is where you can't see the layer starting or finishing. So look, if I pull that straight out from the head at 90, what do you have? Got a little bit there. But look, what do you have? You have short to long. It's shorter internally and it's going longer towards the bottom. So you could do this with the head upright and you could angle your elevation 90 and bend your finger and work from short to long. And a lot of you are watching this are probably like, actually I do that all the time. I elevate everything out from the head at 90, yeah, and I bend my finger going from shorter to longer. And I create the angle with my finger. Yeah, and sometimes it's quite tricky to do. It's kind of hard to scoop sometimes. Or if you're a hairdresser and you don't use a scissor a lot and you use razors, then you could elevate from the hair, elevate up and scoop out. And you could scoop this out with a razor. And that's making it a little bit disheveled, a little bit softer. So you make it your haircut, not mine. But what I'm coming up with here today is get the client to do the hard work for you. Get the client to put a head over to one side. Yeah, you use your guideline at the back, your previous section, which was just behind the ear. You see the guide, everything up to the ceiling, and you point cut through square. So you're keeping the head over to one side, and it's not going to take a long time. Yeah, so in a salon situation, the client's not going to be like, oh, I feel very awkward moving my head like this. You know, trust me, I've worked this on real clients. For the last 12 months, I've been playing around with it on clients, and people are like, they don't mind if you just say, put your head down, put your head over to one side just for one moment. Yeah, and they're like, okay. And everything comes to the ceiling. So you can see that I'm traveling to maintain that length and weight in the bottom. Then you re-establish your client's head position. Okay, now she can relax. All right, so she's not going to be moving her head anymore. All right, so it was just basically within the underneath section. Yeah, we came up with this idea of putting the head down and creating a square layer. Putting the head over to one side and creating a square layer. And the square layer then creates a beautiful layer going from shorter to longer. Okay, so again, if you don't believe me and you're like, I'm not sure what it's doing, all right, we can literally go through, cross-check it if you wish. If you cross-check this, and I go straight in, you can see. Yeah, I think everyone can see that on both devices. Yeah, it's shorter at the top, scooping out longer. And it's going longer, and guess where all the weight is? At the bottom. So I'm keeping it more solid at the bottom. So it's beautiful technique for a client who's got like a bob, a lob, and she likes that more of a, you know, hair, feeling like she's got hair at the back. All right, so what you do now, you bring up the length a little bit. So we comb this down to its natural fall. We work through the fingers, and we'll just create a little bit of point cutting through the perimeter. Again, well, how much you cut off your perimeter is personally up to you. Okay? You make it your haircut, not my haircut. This is a creative haircut. People say to me, what's the difference between a creative haircut and a classic haircut? And I usually just say freedom. All right? You have a lot more freedom with a classic haircut. All right? You have a lot more freedom. And you have a little bit more like what you put your own personality into it. You know, we all know on here, if you're a hairdresser, you all know what a bob should look like. We all have our own visuals of bobs and layers and shapes and classic shapes. But then, you know, if you want to be a little bit creative, then, you know, you take it a little bit shorter. People always say, what's the difference between a creative haircut and a classic haircut? I say usually 2 or 3 inches. 2 inches shorter on any kind of haircut, it's really creative. 2 inches longer, then the client's like, oh, I kind of like it. But 2 inches shorter on the wrong client, then it's the wrong haircut. All right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take the sides down. Okay, so we're going to work through our second section now, which is the front. Okay, so we're going to literally work through the front. Hi everybody, lots of waving. All right, lots of people from around the world on here today, which is nice. Thanks for tuning in and sending some hearts and giving us a share. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for the love. I hope this message finds you all well. What 12 months it's been, but I'm sending all our love to you all over the world. Right, so back to the haircuts. as you can see then, we literally took out the front panel. All right, so the back's all finished. All underneath the zigzag horseshoe, it's basically short to long. All right, really simple. All right, now we're going to work on a curtain bang. All right, so really hot at the moment, a curtain bang. All right, or I'm English, so I say fringe. All right, curtain bang. All right, so a curtain fringe or a bang, whatever you prefer. We're going to work centre section, right through the middle. But like I said earlier, if you've got a client who wears her parting slightly off the middle, you could work it slightly off, you could work it on the natural parting. You make it your haircut, not mine. All right, the first section is straight up to the ceiling. All right, so it's straight up to the ceiling. My distribution elevation is 90, and I decide how much I want to cut off. How much do I want to cut off this fringe? You drop it down. All right, if they're working on curly hair and a lot of movement, yeah, just be careful when it springs up. You don't want to be like chop and it goes bing and then surprise fringe. All right, so make sure that you know, you're really careful with this. So we bring everything up to the ceiling. We point cut through, just right through that centre section. Right through that centre section, 90 to the ceiling. All right, drop that down, see where that's falling. Okay, let it jump up, see how it's looking. Okay. And then what you're going to do, we're going to over direct all the hair. All right, so we're going to over direct all the hair. But because we want to maintain a little bit more length and weight, we could come across the middle parting as well. So you can over direct to the centre, or you could over direct past the centre. The more over direction you're going to be having on this curtain bang, the more weight you're going to be leaving in the bottom, and the more of a flick you're going to get. It's going to be more like an A. All right, so it's going to be more steeper like this. So the steeper the curtain bang is, the more flicky it's going to be. The more like slightly it's going to be, you're not going to get the flick as much. So the trick is with a curtain bang, it's a little bit more over direction than you would normally. Okay, so in a case of this, yeah, dolly head, and it's kind of a finer, medium to finer texture, I'm going to come past the middle parting. Okay, so I'm going to travel past the middle. So it's a little bit more over direction to it. All right, but the distribution is the same, 90 to over directed, and it's point cut square. Okay, and then as we all know, as a hairdresser's experience, we can grab all that section in one go and probably go, yeah, that's brilliant, I can see the guideline. If anybody's here in the cosmetology or they're a younger hairdresser, you might have to take a few more sections to see your guideline. All right. But as an experienced hairdresser, how do we get faster? By, you know, taking larger sections, grabbing more hair in the hair. Yeah, it's feeling the section. If you can see the guideline nice and clear, I can see that nice and clear. All right. So you're over directing. For the guys there on the angle, you can see that I'm pulling it over to one side, just slightly past the head shape. If you've noticed, so if you've noticed on this angle as well, just slightly past the head shape. So in a way, you've got a guide for how much you've over-directed. So what will happen then is when I come to do this side, I'll over-direct over to the slightly past the head shape. So there we go, got all that length still there. All right, so we re-established the middle. So we re-established that middle as my guideline. So there's my nice guideline all the way through. And then, because I'm on camera and I'm an educator, I will split that in half. And I'll do 1, 2. But trust me guys, if I'm working behind the chair and I'm running behind and I'm realistic, I'd be doing that in one go. All right? And that's what life is, it's being realistic. All right? It's like when I used to work for Tony and Guy, and you know, my career's been all over the world, and you know, I've done all sorts of stuff, and I'm really honoured to have done all that. But like sometimes you do so many sections at beauty school or whatever, and you're like, too many sections, and then you still lose the guideline, or you still get confused. All right, so just making sure that you can see that guideline, you can see the shape what you're doing. All right, so I'm over directing all the hair over past the middle. All right, so I use the guide in the middle, but I'm over directing it all past the head shape. So look, I over past it. So when you start to see, making sure that head is upright, yeah, And then look, you just pass that middle. So I'm just past that head shape. And then for the guys on the camera here as well, just past that head. So you've got your combing from underneath, but always keep an eye on your client's head position, especially when you're with over direction. It's easy to get a client to move the head. Okay, and then all of a sudden you've got an asymmetric fringe, you've lost the curtain fringe. You're like, where's my curtain bang? And you're like, it's on the floor. All right, so comb all that down, and then straight away you'll start to see shorter going longer, okay? And that's what you're gonna do now. You're just gonna literally just tidy up and tickle that kind of shape. So in a way, the layering is created the outer edge. So you don't need to do a load of face framing. You don't need to do a lot of cutting off the hair. If you cut this short enough, this first section, and with the over direction, there won't be a lot to come off this front. It'd be like dusting. You'd be like tidying it up a little bit, okay? So in a way, it's like making your life a lot easier for yourself, okay? So just literally bringing that forward over the face, and I would just see if there's any tiny bits what I don't like, or if it's looking a bit wispy in any areas. But I think it's looking pretty good. All right, so then we'll just check this side as well. Just be careful of my arm for you all. And then we'll just check all that through. All right, and then if you're a hairdresser who likes to check your balance, and check your balance, pull out from the same area, pull out from the same area, pull out from the same area, and you can check your balance, okay? If you're a little bit nervous of checking balance in front of a mirror, because literally you're my mirror, you could see that balance. You know, if you've got a client and you're confident, you can check the balance, stand behind or stand in front and check that balance. And if you're a little bit nervous of balance, then you get the client to move to the side, you check your balance, nobody sees it, and then if it's wrong, get it sorted, all right? And then what you'll do now is you'll have a little bit of length just on the sides here. It'll just be a little bit longer just on the side, so we just connect that in. So if I come onto a profile, you'll be able to see that there's the perimeter from the back, and we're just going to carry that through onto the sides. Okay, so natural fall through the sides. And again, this is something that you can customize for your client. Do you want to leave it longer on the sides? Would you like to take it shorter on the sides? Again, these are all these different customizations. You make it your haircut, not my haircut. All right, so think about the face shape, the density of the hair, her lifestyle. Does she like it on her face? Does she like it off her face? Does she like to tie it up? You know, then all of a sudden, do you leave it longer at the front, or do you take it shorter through the front? Okay. Right, I think we're happy with that. So that's the two sections done. So for the guys, if you literally just jumped on social media to see us, thank you. I hope you're enjoying this cheeky little demo. We're basically doing a haircut called the Moth from our collection Moving, and we've literally took it shorter to longer through the underneath, but the easiest way is putting the head down and over to one side. And then through the front, we've done a cheeky curtain bang. All right, the last section, and that's the haircut finished, is the top zigzag section. So you've broken the haircut down, you're maintaining length, you're creating a curtain bang through the front, and now you take this clip out, and this is your last section. All right, and this is basically kind of like a zigzag. You know, when you take it down a little bit now, it looks like a star a little bit, because you've done the zigzag at the front as well. It looks like a little bit like a ziggy-zag star or a halo, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to do now, we split this into 4 sections. Okay, so large teeth for the comb, center section, all the way down, only within the section. You don't comb any of the underneath. So if you're a little bit nervous, because this is disconnected, if you're a little bit like, oh, I'm scared of touching that, just get a clip it out the way. You know, sometimes these are the hardest things to find in a salon. There's always a clip thief. Yeah, I go to work with 4 clips, come back with none. All right, so clips are always a nightmare to find. But clip the underneath out the way, so it's disconnected, and then we're splitting this panel into 4 segments. So you're going down the middle, and then right across horizontally, kind of like ear to ear kind of parting, or like a radial. okay? And then we just literally work all that down there. We can just twist that out the way. Right, so this was designed for curly hair, this haircut. So this is a haircut called the Moth from our latest collection called Moving. It's a beautiful haircut, but I wanted to work with the curl, so I wanted to keep it very loose on this top. So in a way, this is not structured. This is kind of visual, how I cut the top. But if any of you are watching and you're like, oh, whoa, I don't cut hair like this top bit. I like to have a guideline and I like to follow it and I like to be a little bit more fundamental. I like to put the foundation in the haircut and then later I can break it up. If you prefer to do that, that's great, guys. You could literally work a square shape in here. You could literally work something square. You could work something rounded. Yeah, you could work something concaved if you wished. All right, so what I did is something a little bit different, okay? So if you can see, it's a center and a horizontal, so there's 4 boxes. And what I did, I grabbed the box, okay? I twist it, and a twist cut, okay? Because it's curly hair. So a twist cut. So I went into about halfway of the hair. Yeah, I used the sharpest part of my blade, what I don't use that much, which is right at the bottom, and then nip into the hair. I don't cut it off. So this is, if you've never done this before, maybe practice on a mannequin, because there's nothing much worse if the client's looking in the mirror and you go, hi, and then all of a sudden she's like, what are you doing? And then you chop it off. All right, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna nip it. You just nip, nip, nip. You just a little tiny nip of hair, yeah? Just a little bit. See, so I've still got all that hair in my hand. It's still connected. But then look, when I unravel it, it got a lot choppier. Look, if I bring that out now, you can see how it's really broken up. Okay, great example there, how it's really broken up. You're not going any lower than the halfway point. If you go too low, you look like you give your client a chemical haircut. You don't want to look like you give a breakage or anything like that. All right? And then what you'll do is you do your next one. And you go about halfway. Yeah, and then you just nip, 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 nip. Okay, and then you just unravel it, and you can see, got a really nice broken up. Fantastic for curly hair. All right, I wouldn't do this technique on straight hair. If she turns around and says, I want to blow dry it now, and I love using flattening irons. My favorite tool is a flattening iron. I'll be like, okay, it's not going to look decent now. So really make sure that your client wears it curly all the time, or wavy, or messy, all right? And if they do like to use a flattening iron, and they like that versatility to it, then like I said earlier, you just do a round layer, or a concave layer, and you put a foundational layer in there, you know, like a nice shape. I just wanted to show something a bit more creativity within this shape, because it's a haircut from our creative collection. Right, so you bring all that, you've done all that, you've taken all the weight out, then I can grab all that in one section. Okay, so I can grab all that, making sure you take your time because it's a zigzag, so you don't just comb it and then lose all the section. All right, so you grab all that, and so I'm still working within that zigzag. And if you felt like you want to give a bit more structure to the shape, you could literally just bring that up now, and then you could literally just tidy up the ends. Yeah, and you've got a little bit of structure there. All right, you can see that. I can see that. You just got a little bit more structure on those ends. And you shake that out. You take your clips out, because visually, it's going to all connect in. Technically, there's 3 disconnections here, guys. Technically, there's 3 different sections. There's a section through the front for your curtain bang. There's a section through the top for your creative layers. And then there's a section through the underneath to maintain all the length. Okay, and then basically, that's your haircut. Finito. All right, not too bad really. It's taken me probably about 30 minutes, yeah? I'm teaching you that. I'm taking my time. I've taught you that. I basically told you like how to do the sectioning pattern, just shared with you the inspiration. But then you make it your haircut, you know, like, this is so fast. And you know what? Things what are fast make money. All right, because it's a money-making haircut. Because if I do this in 20 minutes in the salon, then I could blow dry this now, yeah, work some product in there, and then the client's like, wow, I love it. All right, so as you can see, it's naturally drying. I've got a bit of heat on my hands there as well. So the heat of my hands is just letting it dry a little bit while I'm talking to you. But, you know, I don't want to stay on forever for this demonstration. It's just a quick, punchy, cheeky little haircut from my latest collection. It's called the Moth, this haircut. It's the Moth. It's broken down into 3 sections. It's basically a lob, a shaggy lob. All right, so it's like a shaggy lob. All right, and really, really simple and really easy to apply. So how would I approach it? So client comes in, she has curly hair. I ask her, do you wear it curly all the time? And she goes, yeah, I just want to leave it. But I hate my hair when it goes into a Christmas tree or a mushroom. I hate that kind of feeling, all right? So I'm like, okay. So that's when I'm going to do this haircut. If she turns around and says, I like to have that option of blow drying it smooth, and I like to keep it a little bit smoother, then what I suggest is to do the section straighter. So I would do the section from the apex to the ear straight, and then do a horseshoe nice and clean. All right, and then I would probably put like a concave layer in it. All right, through the top. I wouldn't be so visual if she was going to wear it straighter. Okay, if she's going to wear it like this curl and this beautiful movement, then I'll do the zigzags. So for the guys who maybe been in and out of the social media, basically what we did is apex, zigzag, zigzag, zigzag to the top of the ear, and then a horseshoe section, a zigzag around the curvature of the head. Underneath, we pop the lady's head down. The elevation distribution was 90 and square, so maintaining the corner, yeah, where it's going to sit heavy at the bottom. Then what we did on the sides, we got the head over to one side. So we turned the client's head over to one side and we came off the head, working square again. Once you're happy with that, we did a curtain bang or curtain fringe. Shorter in the middle and then slightly over to one side, coming over to the side of the head, slightly over to one side, coming off the side. So you work it more like a real curtain. You get more of a flick. The more over direction, the more flicky you're going to get that curtain bang. All right, and then the last and final section was very visual, very creative, very free. And that's what we're all about at Edge Academy. When you come on one of our classes, I can teach you technique, but I can't teach you taste. All right, and I don't want to change your taste because you're an amazing hairdresser already. All right, so I'm just here to show you a new sectioning pattern, a new approach, and then how long, how short, how customized you take this haircut. It's freedom. You have freedom with this haircut, all right? So you make it your haircut, not my haircut. So you might look at this now and go, oh, I love it. I want to go shorter, yeah? I want to keep it a bit longer. I want to take that fringe shorter, you know? That's what you clients can offer in 6 weeks' time when they come back. She grows it out and she says, what do you love about it? Oh, I loved it. All my friends loved it. But can I go a little bit shorter? Can I leave it a bit longer? So then you customize it yourself. All right, products are key. All right, so if you're a hairdresser and you really want to upsell, how do I make this haircut look better? Color placement, or product. All right, so you know, like a curl lotion, a curl cream, a sea salt spray, yeah, leave-in conditioner, anything like that to moisture the curl back into the shape there. But loads of people have been waving. I will answer all the questions and people what have been waving. Will this be posted on Instagram, TV? Yes, it will be. So for the guys who are on Instagram or Facebook, this will be stored so you can watch it, you can share it with your team. Please share it, you know, send the love from Edge Academy. If you love what you see, you know, give us a bit of a hearts, give us a thumbs up, and hopefully we'll see you at the Academy or again online. If you're interested in any tools from the Academy, we have our shears and our amazing edge comb. Give us a DM if you're in the market for a comb or a new shear. But for now, guys, stay safe, keep positive, and thanks so much for tuning in live here on Edge Academy.